How did Christianity become the official religion of Rome? In this lesson, we have 3 goals. Explain the origins of Christianity, describe how Christianity spread, explain how Christianity became the official religion of Rome. If you can do all those things, you'll be able to answer our lesson question successfully. Now, here's another piece you need to cover. Your words to know. Here's your academic word. It's sect. Disciple, gospel, martyr, Messiah, and resurrection, those are your domain-specific words. So be sure to look out for them along the way. How did Christianity become the official religion of Rome? Well, to be able to answer that, we're going to have to cover 3 major pieces. The founding of Christianity, the spread of Christianity, and finally, how Christianity got to Rome and was finally accepted. Take a look at this timeline. It'll help you see the development of the 5 most practiced religions in the world. Now let's take a geographical approach. As you can see, Christianity is probably the most practiced religion in the world today. Note North America. Now, just because it's mostly Christianity, that doesn't mean there aren't people practicing other religions. This is Israel. This is where Christianity began. And as you can see, it spread to every other continent in the world through missionaries and so on. Now, all the great religions are important. However, Christianity is what we're going to be focusing on today. Take a look at our lesson question again. How did Christianity become the official religion of Rome? Again, we need to do this in 3 pieces. The founding of Christianity, the spread of Christianity, and Christianity in Rome. Right now, let's take a look at how Christianity was founded. Here's another map I want you to look at. I think it'll help you understand the spread of Christianity. This is Judea. The Jewish people lived in Judea under Roman rule, and Rome allowed Jews some religious freedom. All Jews looked forward to the arrival of the Messiah, and the Messiah has its roots in biblical and Jewish prophecy.
Jesus of Nazareth is the central figure in the founding of Christianity. Jesus was a Jew raised in the village of Nazareth. Nazareth is in modern-day Israel. He began his public ministry at age 30. He is believed by many to be the awaited Messiah and Son of God, and is reported to have performed many miracles. He is called the Christ, or Jesus Christ, from the Greek word for anointed. There are no known paintings or images of Jesus created in his lifetime, but he is an important artistic subject in works created long after his death, like this picture. Now let's learn about some of Jesus' teachings.
Now, the teachings of Jesus, the first 4 books of the New Testament, or the Gospels, tell all about Jesus' life. Now, what you need to know is the Bible is actually divided into 2 books. It's divided into the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the Old Testament is also the book of the Jewish religion, and the Jews call it the Torah. Now, the New Testament accepted many Jewish teachings. They stressed love and acceptance of all, especially the poor and the weak. They stated that God would create an eternal kingdom in heaven for the faithful. As Jesus continued preaching and teaching, he attracted many followers, and thousands came to hear him speak. Out of those thousands, he chose 12 men to be his closest disciples. These men were charged with spreading the Christian faith. One of the more well-known ones is Simon Peter, and he became one of the church's first leaders. However, some people were not as happy with Jesus' preaching. His popularity concerned the Roman and Jewish leaders. Why? Because his followers started calling him the Messiah, the King of Kings. And some of the Jewish leaders, they didn't like that, as well as some of the Roman leaders. In being the King of Kings, does that mean he's above their Roman king? Unfortunately, he was tried and executed on the orders of the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. However, According to the Gospels, 3 days after his burial, a living Jesus appeared to his followers. He then ascended into heaven. The Christian holiday, Easter, celebrates his resurrection. As you can see in this photo here, these are the followers of Jesus celebrating his ascension into heaven. How did Christianity become the official religion of Rome? You just learned about the life and death and resurrection of Jesus. Now let's take a look at what happened after his death and how Christianity spread. After Jesus' death and resurrection, his disciples and followers began to spread the word about Jesus and what had happened to him. They traveled all across the empire, spreading the message that Jesus was the Messiah. In the beginning, Christianity was actually seen as a sect of Judaism. Now let's see one of the more influential people in spreading Christianity. That would be Paul of Tarsus. Now, interestingly enough, he was a Jew and a citizen of Rome. Now, being a citizen afforded him a lot of freedom to spread Christianity. In his earlier life, he persecuted Christians. However, he converted to Christianity after being visited by a vision of Jesus. He is considered to be the most influential leader of the early church. In fact, by 100, there were over 60 Christian churches. Now, it is also believed that he was martyred for his belief. Now, take a look at this painting. This is a painting from the Renaissance. We don't know exactly what Paul looks like, but this is a good guess. Now, I told you earlier Paul was martyred. He was also not treated very well. And in this painting, we believe Paul is actually blind. Let's talk a little bit more about the early church. Paul traveled all across the Roman Empire, spreading Christianity. He converted people of all faiths, and he wrote about half of the books of the New Testament. Now, doing this during the time of the Pax Romana made it very safe. Why? Because travel was safe. It was an easy time. It was also a good time to establish many churches. As I said earlier, by 100, over 60 had been established. However, not everything was easy for the Christians during this time. The Christians actually refused to worship Roman gods. They suffered persecution for their beliefs, and despite this, the church continued to grow to over 300 million Christians. Here we are back at our lesson question. We covered the founding of Christianity, Jesus' birth, death, and resurrection. Next, we talked a lot about the spread of Christianity. We also talked about the persecution of Christians. However, we know that Christianity began to flourish, so much so that it became the official religion of Rome. Let's get into that now. So how exactly did Rome adopt the religion of Christianity? Well, it all started with the Emperor Constantine. Now, even to become emperor, he had to fight a war. He was embroiled in a very big civil war with several want-to-be emperors. According to the legend, he received a message from God before a battle. Constantine won the battle, and he gave credit to the God of the Christians, as you can see in this painting here. Going up, God of the Christians. He then became a very devout follower. Constantine's leadership, he legalized the Christian worship. He ended the persecution of the Christians. Again, look at the mosaic. He's holding the church in his hands, thus protecting it. He also standardized Christian beliefs through the creation of the Nicene Creed, which standardized belief for the main pieces of the church. The Christian beliefs, the Christian Bible contains two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Christianity is a monotheistic religion. All Christians consider Jesus to be the Son of God. They believe that he was sent to save mankind from sin. And lastly, Christians believe they will attain salvation by following his teachings. Let's go into a little bit more about the Roman Catholic Church. By the 300s, a loose organization had formed. Bishops served supervised a group of churches. The Bishop of Rome was the leader of the church, and we believe that it was probably Peter. Now, take a look at this map. You can see the spread of Christianity from 325 to 500. It had spread throughout most of Western Europe and a little bit into Africa as well. By 380, the Roman Catholic Church was the official church of the empire. The church dominated politics and society for the next 1,000 years, and during that time there was a very big break in the church. It occurred in 1054, and you had the break between the Catholic Church and then what would become the Eastern Orthodox Church. You'd have another break within the Catholic Church in 1517 during the Protestant Reformation, where you had the Protestant churches, some examples being Lutheran, Baptist, Anglican, Anabaptist, and so on. Now take a look at this timeline. It's really going to give you a good idea of the rise of Christianity. You have the birth of Jesus, we think around 4 BCE. The crucifixion, the conversion of Constantine, Christianity becoming the official religion of the empire, and then, sadly, the fall of the Western Roman Empire.